Welcome to week 1. Let's hop right into the connection breath. I love this style of breathing. I'll take time out of any day just to connect back to my breath using the connection breath, also called a diaphragmatic breath. Reason being is that we're using our diaphragm, but we're using both diaphragms, and that's what I want you to think of. Is we have a pelvic floor diaphragm, we have a respiratory diaphragm, and we really want everything to be included in this breath. Now, as we're running through life, we have a tendency to keep our breath very chest heavy and not heavy, actually, very light and very quick, non-intentional. So our breathing stays up here and we're not using everything that we should be using, including the pelvic floor. So using a connection breath or performing a connection breath will include all of the muscles in our chest and in our pelvic floor. So what does that look like? When we inhale, I want you to imagine a balloon, right? A balloon inside of your body, expanding everything together, the chest and the belly, and then deflating everything together. So that air is starting from up here, but it's really reaching all the way down here. So let's do it together. Take a nice inhale in through the nose. Exhale it all out. That's going to be even together. Keep going, keep practicing. Now, I know some of my clients will be like, hold on a second, I can't hold my breath like that. I need to breathe faster. I'm going to pass out. This is a practice, okay? Like everything involved in this program, it's going to take practice and consistency. Retraining your body. I mean, come on, we have lost trust with our body. We have kind of ignored it, all right? Put it on the back burner. Whether we've had children or not, we haven't really dealt with the healing process that it's asking for and calling it. So this is us dealing with that, and we have to rebuild that trust. Our body's going to take a second to be like, okay, I see you, because it wants to see it consistently in order for it to have that trust with ourselves. So here we are, we're doing our connection breath. We're going to bring this into our practice for the next six weeks. And we're going to get it in, we're going to get it done, we're going to get used to it. So with connection breathing, I want to start bringing in another style of breathing, which is going to be our contractions, our pelvic floor contractions. So using the connection breath, inhaling, everything inflating, we're going to start adding another component to it. And it's going to slide on in at the bottom of that exhale, meaning we inhale, we exhale it all out. At the end of that exhale, we're going to contract. We have different areas of the pelvic floor. We have the front, we have the middle, we have the back, and then we consider the whole thing together as well. So we're going to have 4 different segments that we're going to breathe through. I'm going to walk you through each and every one, and you're just going to follow the cues. You may feel your body respond, you may feel it quiver, you may feel nothing at all, which is so normal. And I mean, it's, again, you're building back this relationship and this response with your body. So it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a second. But let's start that minute right now. Take a second. Let's go on down. The floor, the bed, wherever you are comfortable. You can do these seated. You can do them standing. Personally, I think they're easier to build that connection laying on the ground. That way you just don't have to focus on anything else. Everything's kind of relaxed. So here we go. Feet can be bent. Feet can be extended out ahead. Palms are going to be down to the side or placed on your chest and belly so you can feel any kind of response from your body and just feel the equalness, right? The evenness of everything expanding, deflating together. So let's go for that. Inhale. Exhale it all out. We're just taking practice breaths, so let's go again. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale it all out. So taking a second, you're going to go ahead and do another as I explain what's going on here. We're going to start with the front area. So what are we thinking? We are thinking going to the bathroom, peeing, okay? We're going to call it what it is. So if you need to use the restroom, pause the video, go do that now. We don't want to do any of this work on a full bladder. Always empty your bladder before we get started. But here we go. We're going to contract, meaning we're going to engage and activate the front area. So as if you were stopping the flow of peeing, all right? So we're open as we're breathing, as we exhale. The end of that exhale, we're going to hold, we're going to contract, we're going to stop the flow. Here we go. Let's put it into action. Inhale through the nose. Exhale it all out. And hold for 2, 3, 4, release. All right, so a 3 to 4 second hold. We really want to get there. And it's a mind-muscle connection. Nothing may happen, and that is okay. We're building the connection. Yes, it takes a couple of times. Yes, it's completely normal. And yes, it's totally okay. So the backside, we're thinking of stopping gas or going potty number 2, whatever is happening back there, we want to close it all up. So I always tell my clients, think about opening, right? And then thinking about closing all of these different areas and calling it what it is, these different holes, all right? It's a mental component. Whatever works for you to cue yourself in, baby girl. Here we go. In the back, we're inhaling through the nose. Exhale it all out. And stop a fart. Hold it. Pull it in. Hold it. Release it. Add a little movement. Relax. Back to a normal breath here. So this third time, we're going for the middle. And you're like, what middle? We're thinking about the actual situation. All right. So the hole the babies came out of, the hole the tampons are going in or not in, that hole. And that's what we're thinking about, is contracting that area, those muscles, and releasing it. Okay. And again, we're just going to be as real and as raw as it is. You can practice these during sex. Your man will feel it, or he may not feel it and then feel it eventually because you've been working on your pelvic floor. So it's a great way to kind of gain back control in the bed of what's going on. It's not all about him. All right. And you can kind of have more say in the matter. So it's all about building that connection. Here we go. Let's do round 3. This is going to be the middle area. So inhale through the nose. Exhale it all out. Everything's open. And then contract, tighten up that area, that middle area. And it may be hard to differentiate the front, the back, and the middle. That is okay. All right, so we're released, we're relaxed. We're gonna go ahead and do all 3 areas together. A nice big contraction. We're not holding it too long, 3 to 4 seconds, everything, tighten it up, and then we'll release it. Here we go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Bottom exhale, let's hold, let's tighten, contract, engage, and release it. It's a connection, it's work. Whenever I do pelvic floor work with my clients one-to-one, we'll be 5 minutes in and they're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, what is this? It's actual work and I'm just laying here. It is so much work and it's beautiful work. It's beautiful work that we should have been doing all along. But we're here now and we're going to get it in. That is, my love, the connection breath, and that is our engagements, okay, our contractions, our new contraction. So beautiful. I want you to go for a little side to side with the knees, okay? We're dropping the knees down to one side, coming on up, nice and slow, control to the other side. We have no active engagement here. We're just moving just to loosen everything up. We did a lot of activating. We're just loosening, relaxing, going back to a nice rested state here. Our next situation we're going to roll right into is the pelvic tilt. I'm sure we've heard this so many times, right? Especially in like a workout class or anything. It's pelvic tilt, back to the mat, all of those things. And then we end up pressing everything into the mat. And what that's doing is actively over-engaging this upper abdominal. Okay, and it's really not doing much for our pelvic floor. So although it's a good cue, it's not good all the time. And we need to know how to actively engage everything below the upper abdominals. Otherwise, we're really doing a disservice to our body. So with the pelvic tilt, we like to do them by themselves, okay? I'm not gonna tell you to do it before we start doing an exercise or whatever may be going on. Pelvic tilt is its own game, all right? So here we are. Naturally, you want a nice neutral curve in that lower back. There may be a little bit of space, maybe there's not, but we're not pressing anything down. And with that natural curve, I want you to memorize this position, because to be honest with you, with the natural curve is how your pelvic floor is actually going to be aligned. If you're pressing it in, right, we talked about the overactivation, your pelvic floor is now tilting backwards where nothing's actively aligned at all. Okay, and then the opposite, we're we're now tilting forwards, creating all sorts of imbalances within the spine and in the pelvic floor in general within the hips. So we want a nice, natural, neutral curve here. We want to memorize this feeling. A cue or something I want you to do, grab your hands. All right, we're going to go in for a nice V shape on our pelvic area. So with the fingertips on your pubic bone, your heels of your palms on your hip bones towards this area, I want you to pelvic tilt yourself, meaning you're going to press forward and then press back. So you are actually rocking your hips manually, pelvic tilting, and I want you to feel what's going on. Feel that pelvis move, connect to your body, and come to a nice pause here, nice and neutral. Feel free to look up so you can see what's going on, but you'll see that your hands are probably parallel to the ground with a natural curve to the back. And that's how we know we're aligned. And we'll bring this into a standing posture eventually. So with all of this being said, let's practice a pelvic tilt without the hands. So we're going to rock forward, rock back, and I want you to think about that belly button. The movement around it, that sensation we're feeling in the muscles around it, the tissue, the fascia, everything, it's going to start waking up. The belly button to the low back is going to be the cue. Nothing to do with the floor. Bring the front to the back. Engage is going to how we actually activate the core when we then get into using it for workouts, exercises, which we will bring in later in the series. So always think belly button to the low back and never sucking in. Don't bring it in that way because now everything's being pushed, right? Push down, push up so we can suck in. We want to naturally bring it in to the low back. And again, this takes practice. That is an active engagement for the core. All right, so I want you to roll over to your side here. We're going to stack the knees, stack the hips, shoulders, everything. And this is another one that's going to start loosening up all of them, okay, as we go on and we practice. So don't take this as any kind of hint or judge yourself or anything. Hand down on the ground. And what I want to do is a little somatic movement. And this is bringing now our nervous system, retraining our nervous system, which is absolutely involved with pelvic floor. Our pelvic floor is at the bottom of our spine, right? It's very much connected to this nervous system traveling up to our brain. So we are connecting in many different ways. And we're retraining our nervous system, that fight or flight, that parasympathetic, right? We want to respond rather than react. And that's to everything in life, okay? That's to everything. And this is a great way to kind of back it up, slow it down, and retrain that nervous system. So hand on the ground, hips are stacked, and I want you to imagine my hand right here on you, okay? And I'm maybe pushing you forward a little bit and then pulling you back a little bit. And at first, your whole body's gonna go, right? Everything together. And then I want you to start segmenting just the hip. Hip goes forward, hip goes back. You're using the ground as feedback, and you're loosening up that top hip. I love to do these at night. I find them to be very relaxing. It kind of allows my body to calm down, my mind to calm down, and it's soothing. Think about a baby being rocked to sleep, right? This rocking motion is so soothing. So we'll do a couple of these guys, and then we'll come on up to sit. And I say that the way I do because we should always turn to our side to come up to sit rather than coming up forward. Okay, just it's more stress, it's more tension on the body and the pelvic floor and core when we're not necessarily ready for that, right? It's in a weakened state, it's in a vulnerable state. We're building back that strength. So always turn to the side, getting out of bed, right? Getting off the floor, anything like that. We'll work our way up nice and slow. There may be some hypotension there. Maybe your blood pressure drops a little bit as you pick that head up. Always go nice and slow. Honor that body. So let's swivel it around to that other side. Same thing. We're coming down on the side. Hips are stacked, knees are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Hand on the floor, on your hip, wherever you feel is working for you today. If you need that actual hand on top, sometimes I do. It just helps with the connection. But then I'm going to bring it down because I do want that feedback and I want that hip to be moving independently. So it's a glide, it's a slide. That bottom leg is not moving anywhere. My shoulders stay stacked. I could take a nap right now. We love these guys, we really do. Beautiful. Same thing, we'll bring it to a nice natural stop and we'll work our way up from the side, going nice and slow to our sit. I want to bring one more movement pattern into our practice this week. And this video is our weekly practice, right? So we turn this on at any point during the week to hop right into and to practice and to perform and reconnect. That's what these videos are for, is practice. So with that being said, feet are in front of you, knees are bent, hands on the shin, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to stack that spine. And when we get into our posture segment, we're going to get into exactly how to do that step by step. But for now, you sit up straight all the time. So here we go. Pulling up through the crown of the head, lengthening up. We're going to let out the back. We're not going to segment. We're just going to let it all out, meaning we're going to start flexing that spine. So bring it around, lower yourself, chin to chest, round out that upper back, create all this space, and then slowly start stacking it back up. Let's get a couple of these movements in, and then we're going to incorporate breath work with it. So chin to chest, extend right, lengthen out the neck, and bring it right back up. Love these in the morning, first thing in the morning. They're the best. So now here we go, chin to chest. This would be our exhale. And as we come up, we're going to inhale. We're creating space to breathe, space for our diaphragm to expand. And then exhale it all out. Let's roll again. And as we get more comfortable with these, you're going to notice this pelvic floor, right? This whole pelvis area really taking the lead here, really taking control of the movement, initiating it, ending it, really bringing it all together, which we love. Feel free to lower the hands underneath the thighs, ever is comfortable. Let's go ahead. Let's go for two more. Let it all out. Really create the space in between the vertebrae. And then close that space back up. Beautiful. We'll slowly make our way back around, or however you are sitting. Hand on the chest, hand on the belly. We will always end our practice with our connection breath, right? Thanking ourselves for being here today, for slowing down, because we all know like it is emotional. Like working with your hips, it's crazy. There is definitely an emotional release. And we're here to honor that. We're here to show up and to show ourselves and our bodies that we're not going anywhere this time. We're here to stay. And I thank you very much for being here with me today, joining me on the mat, joining yourself on the mat. It's real. Until next time, my love, breathe deeply.